Many of you have justifiably expressed shock and outrage regarding Ezra Levant's recent report that the RCMP's impending new dress code will allegedly allow for Muslim Mounties to wear the hijab. I wasn't surprised, folks. I was kind of expecting it. You see, a few years ago, yours truly uncovered that the Toronto Police Service had quietly altered its uniform requirements to allow Muslim policewomen to wear the hijab. The official reason for the uniform change was to encourage more Muslim women to join the service. I suspect the unspoken reason had more to do with a public institution, yet again, bowing to the tyranny of political correctness. Goodbye law, hello Sharia law. But the question arises, if the hijab is indeed kosher in the eyes of police forces across our great dominion, then what about the burqa or the niqab being part of a police uniform? No, seriously. Well, brace yourselves, folks. The Toronto Police Service is actually open to the idea of burqa and niqab-clad police officers. I wish I was making this up, but I'm not. When I contacted the office of Deputy Chief Mike Federico, I wanted to know how far the Toronto Police Service would go when it comes to haberdashery accommodation. For example, if a female Muslim police officer were to demand that she be allowed to wear a niqab or a burqa on the job, would such a request be denied given the precedent now set with the hijab? After all, none of these garments, burqa, niqab, hijab, are mandated by the Quran. In truth, I expected an answer along these lines. Identity-concealing burqas and niqabs have no place as part of a Toronto police uniform. Actually, what I was really expecting to hear was, oh, come on, Menzies, get serious, will you? But no. Here's what the deputy chief had to say regarding the burqa and niqab. Quote, each request is dealt with on its merits, including compliance with uniform standards and health and safety requirements. But wait a minute. Federico isn't being consistent here. After all, the reason the hijab is now allowed, it has little to do with uniform standards and health and safety requirements. Rather, in the deputy chief's own words, Toronto Police takes its uniform cues from, drum roll please, the Ontario Human Rights Commission and certain religious leaders. Yikes. Indeed, when I asked Deputy Chief Federico why female Muslim officers are allowed to wear the hijab in the first place, he responded, quote, a request was submitted by a member. The Toronto Police Service explored this request in consultation with the Ontario Human Rights Commission, our Muslim Community Consultative Group, the Canadian Council of Imams, and the Muslim Canadian Congress, as well as taking into account uniform standards, end quote. Hey, did you hear anything in that statement about health and safety standards? No, those health and safety standards might be a tad accommodating to certain squeaky wheels. So go ahead, Officer Fatima, don that medieval fabric coffin. Your wish is our command. By the way, if Canadian police forces are now gung-ho when it comes to Islamic cultural accommodation, how far will they go in terms of kowtowing to other cultures? For example, if, say, Constable MacDonald were to show up for duty wearing a kilt to celebrate his Scottish heritage, would that be tolerated? Oh, I doubt it. In the meantime, I truly wonder where the RCMP stands on the issue of burqa and niqab-clad Mounties. To tell you the truth, folks, I'm afraid to ask. For TheRebel.Media, I'm David the Menzoid Menzies.